Hey everybody, it's Jeremy here with the Gillette Group, and today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about smart houses and what you need to do when you move or when you buy. And this is the Live Joy Southwest Florida channel. We talk about all things real estate. If this is the kind of information you're looking for, make sure that you subscribe and ring the bell. That will make sure every time we introduce new videos, you'll get notified. If you want to reach out to me directly, my cell phone number is 239-771-6237. I look forward to talking to you real soon. All right, so today's topic is a little bit different. I get asked all the time about the Ring doorbell. What has to happen? Does it convey with the house? Can I take it with me? Depending on which side of the sale that you're on, probably has a little bit of a bias in terms of the direction that you want to take. But because it's mounted on the wall, the reality is that the doorbell conveys, just like if you have a Nest thermostat. Or let's talk about surveillance. So this is something that's becoming much more common, especially in these Wi-Fi enabled houses. Ring, Arlo, there's all kinds of different companies that make Wi-Fi versions of their cameras. You know, they started with doorbells and now they've got them all over. I've got, I think, 3 or 4 stick-up cams in our house to be able to view different parts of the home and entry points, watching over the lanai and the pool area as an example, looking down towards the driveway because the Ring doorbell only really gets, you know, someone standing right in front of the doorbell. So as more and more homes have surveillance, you know, that has to be disclosed. And it typically is just part of the listing paperwork. But more importantly, if you're a buyer, you want to be mindful. I tell our customers all the time, let's not talk offer until we're back in the car. You know, like so many times I've actually had to kind of, you know, discourage a conversation. I'm locking the house back up, putting the key back in the lockbox, and our buyers are talking behind us. Well, the seller could be listening, you know, to that conversation. So you just want to be mindful. You know, cameras could be hidden, they can be in plain sight. It's easy to get caught up in the moment, especially as you're going through a home. You see things that you like, you start envisioning how your family's going to fit in there. But be mindful. You know, you don't want to give away too much. You don't want to talk about an offer. You know, that's something that you really want to have a conversation with once we're out of earshot, certainly of any camera potentially in that home. I'm trying to think of something else. But basically, as these homes get smarter, you have to be really thinking about what's on the walls. You know, I've had many people come in and they take the doorbells down when they move and end up in a mad dash after the final walkthrough, putting it back up. We've had people take the Nest thermostats and put up a regular thermostat after because they want to take it to the new house. The best thing that you can do is either share that it doesn't convey, or even better, is to take it down before you list your house for sale. So it's not just doorbells, it's not just thermostats. Think about how these houses are getting smarter. Everybody has keypads now for garage door entry. You've got potentially Sonos in-ceiling speakers, in-wall speakers, the Rings, of course, that we've talked about with the doorbells. You have surveillance systems. You might have like an electronic keypad front entry on your door. All of these devices typically have to be removed or detached from the current owner before they can be set up with the new owner. And Ring, as an example, even though the house has sold and you could provide them paperwork that shows you are the new owner of that home, that device cannot be transferred until it's been detached from the previous owner. So make sure as you're going through a home, you're thinking about some of these smart devices, because the reality is you don't want to have to just replace them to make them work. But you might have to work with the seller, or if you're the seller, you might have to work with the buyer to get them out of your account to then make sure that they can be set up on the new account. So it's all these little things that you probably don't think of. We've actually added a step to our checklist as we go through a transaction to make sure, if we're on the buy side, that we ask the seller to take these devices off their accounts. Doesn't mean that they will, but it's certainly an effort to try to make sure that you're protected and that you can use these devices. When we're talking about all this, obviously we're talking about resale homes, but it is important that you think in advance of how you want to handle all these different devices. So when you think about if you're a seller, as an example, and you're going to list your home, if you don't want these devices to convey, really the best thing you can do is take them off before you have pictures or anyone through the house, and then replace them with whatever you want to put in there, a regular doorbell, just a digital thermostat as opposed to maybe a Wi-Fi learning thermostat. But they are going to convey because of just how the contracts are written here. So just be mindful of that. You're going to want to have to, or you're going to want to be able to cooperate with the buyer or seller, depending on the party that you are, to make sure that we can get all these devices to work for the next party. So we're going to do everything we can to try to help ensure that the handoff is as best as possible. But the reality is there's so many different devices and so many manufacturers, we just don't have all the answers. So there's probably going to be some homework on your part. I think about just the front door. You've got Schlage versus Kwikset. There's probably 10 other lock manufacturers that might have some sort of electronic entry. Directions are going to be readily available online, but it might require, getting on Google or looking up the manufacturer and just understanding what's going to be required to change out the codes or to delete a temporary code or a previous code. So there'll be a little bit of homework, potentially on your part, but it's worth it in the end versus buying all new devices to swap out. So generally, you're going to find a lot of this technology in newer construction. And if that's the type of home you're looking for, check out this neighborhood, the place at Corkscrew. It is super highly amenitized, great fees, and beautiful floor plans for you to choose from.